Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the Galley La Podcast. Today we're going to be going over the last two episodes of the One Piece live-action show, episodes 7 and 8, which covers the Arlong Park arc. And please like and subscribe if you haven't. We'd like to know how we're doing on this. I'm Geboss, and the other host is Akainu Fanboy. And let's just get right into this. So, Arlong Park is, I would say it's where a lot of people really get hooked in the series, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah. So how do you think that how they did with this arc as a whole?
Some initial things. I thought the fishermen looked pretty good overall. And I thought kind of the shots of the villages, the tangerine farms, I thought like pretty well shot. I'd say the actor for Genzo was good, and I think we needed a better actress for Bellarmine. I didn't really think she was the best in the world with the role, you know.
I feel like they downplayed her like badassness.
Yes,
because she was just this like marine. I really wanted to see them do the scene where she just like kicks Arlong down and shoves the gun in his mouth when he comes to take the money. We didn't really get that because she's like running away from the fishmen with the townspeople. So
she didn't have the umph to it, you know, like the zeal, if that makes sense, you know. Kind of more lower energy, you know. So I'd say like that was kind of my take. I think more with episodes 7 and everything. I thought Nami's actress did do a great job with her performance. I thought like her getting the money taken away was like a phenomenal scene and everything. You know, really tragic. You know, and I thought she like killed that part pretty well. And then like obviously going on later to when she like ends up stabbing the tattoo. I thought that scene was really good as well. You know, so. And I think even Arlong's actor really did a great job of performing this, and he did a great job with it too, you know. So I thought a lot of the performances were good. I thought it was like a little strange, the gangster rap fishman thing, you know. I was like, it's just kind of off-putting, but like not bad necessarily, just kind of off-putting, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've seen the Nami breakdown scene in different forms between like different specials and dubs and everything. And I think this is just as good as all the other ones. But yeah, with the fishman motif, I was kind of surprised and confused. I think I'm still confused at why Arlong Park has like carnival stuff in it.
Yeah,
I have no idea why they went with that. Like, do you have any idea why they possibly could have done that?
No. Like, I don't know if they like water slides or whatever, but it's like because they're fish. I maybe, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, it would make more sense if they tried to like put up a front of being of like, oh no, we're like actual like law-abiding people or whatever. This is like an amusement park or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed like a weird choice. Yeah, for episode 7 though, there were a couple of things just narratively wise that I was kind of conflicted about because in the manga, they made sure that you knew the townspeople knew that Nami was helping them get the money. Whereas here, it kept a secret, and I think that made it even more tragic in the manga. Like they had to rely on this little girl to help free them.
Yeah.
Whereas here, they were just kind of oblivious and thought Nami was a bad person. And I don't think they ever had that in the manga.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the other thing was that one of the big things with Luffy in this is that he listens to Nojiko's backstory about Nami's past, about her telling the story. Whereas in the original, he's like, no, I don't really care about that. And he walks away, but she tells the backstory to like Usopp, Zoro, and Sanji. And
right.
They kept the line in this where like Nami's like, oh, you don't even know what's going on here anymore. And Luffy's like, you're right. I'm like, well, not really, because you heard Nojiko tell the whole story. And it kind of lessens the overall impact, because in the manga, Luffy's just like, oh, you're my friend. That's the reason that I'm helping you. I don't need to know why you're like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of lost in that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it did seem a little discombobulated, and I'd say a little bit foreign from the manga and everything. And you kind of just, I think the emotional lead up is just kind of scattered at that point, I guess, a little bit. You know, it kind of interrupts the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, especially because at the end of episode 7, it's night, and they're like, oh, we're going to go attack Arlong. And then episode 8 opens in the morning. And it's like, you waited the whole night just to attack?
Yeah, and they did cut out one of my favorite scenes was when when Nami is off the impression that she stabbed Usopp.
Oh, yeah. That was that was my introduction to the concept of the 4Kids edit, because they completely ruined that scene in that. But yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, that's a great scene that was kind of lost.
Yeah, so I get it, limited time, budget, and all that, but I thought like that was just like a great emotional scene and connection between Usopp and Nami.
Yeah.
And it shows her being clever. And playing both sides. So
yeah,
and it was just kind of another moment that Usopp lost.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, there could have been time to have that, but in episode 7 we also had the scene with Zeph and Garp, which I personally liked. I really liked these two actors playing off each other, but
yes, I did too.
I don't think it was really needed. In the grand scheme of things. I mean, in the end, it helps Garp kind of have his whole character arc in this, because Zeph is basically telling him to let go about Luffy. But yeah, it was just fun to watch those two play off each other.
Yeah, like, would I have preferred we didn't have like the Garp storyline interact with Luffy? I would have preferred that never happened, but I still like having these scenes of Zeph talking to Garp and everything. And then also I did like the Helmeppo Kobe bar dynamic as well. I thought that was a really cool scene, great characterization, So I would say like those were kind of my thoughts for episode 7. Do you have anything more you want to add on those?
No, not really. We can get on to episode 8 now.
Okay, yeah. No, I just want to say again, no Hachi was sad.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That's a big loss, especially in the future with the Sabaody arc.
Kind of important. Kind of important in the future.
Yeah, and it shows that like not all the fishmen are bad. It was just important.
And forgiveness with Nami and celestial dragons. There's a lot there,
Yeah, and the whole thing with and it would give someone else for Zoro to fight rather than double teaming Kurobi.
Yeah. So that was just a weird omission there. And I don't know, I didn't really like that much Buggy being brought around like a little doll. Kind of there for comedic thing, but I think it was kind of too demeaning even for him,
Yeah.
I think like only Crocodile and Mihawk can do that to him, not really the Straw Hats and Blue. you know,
Yeah.
like. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of demeaning, a little too demeaning, I think. But I don't know. So in terms of the fights, though, I thought Usopp's was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, this is like his one moment of the whole series for him to show his stuff. Yeah, it was done well. I don't know how much I bought like Chew just bringing a bottle of alcohol as like his for him to use his bullets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that interaction was done well enough.
Yeah. And then the fight with Kurobi versus Sanji. So I thought the Sanji kicks were good, and I'm glad that he got the finisher move and that it wasn't just a 2v1 during the whole thing, you know, because Sanji needed his fight as well, because that was taken away from him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Pearl and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I thought the fights were good. I did like the fight with Arlong, and the Gum Gum battle axe was well done as well and everything. So it didn't look as cheesy and as I like feared a lot of this stuff was going to be. But again, overall, I liked the fights a bit. It was good.
Yeah. I think they saved a lot of their budget for the Arlong part, Arlong versus Luffy, because we finally get to see him do like the Gum Gum Gatling and the battle axe and the destruction of the whole building and everything. But yeah, I thought that it was good.
Yeah,
I liked the little moment where Nami shows up and or she runs out of the building and Sanji goes to greet her and then she just runs past him.
No, that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of thought you started to see more of the banter with Zoro and Sanji. Like, I don't need 3 swords to be a man, for example. And I like how they're kind of developing them more, you know. I thought that was really good. And I don't know, just like when the crew was just laughing at the end, I thought that was like really touching, you know. You're starting to see more of the crew dynamic really flesh out, and I thought it was really well done. Now, in terms of the Garp and versus Luffy thing, I just kind of thought the dynamic was superfluous. I thought Enies Lobby handled it a lot better, and I just don't like it, to be perfectly frank. Like, I like Garp's actor, I like the Kobe stuff. I just kind of wish these two storylines remain separate the whole time. I just think this is way too early for Luffy's character to be interacting with Garp, you know?
So, I kind of agreed initially, but I reread the post Enies Lobby part where Garp showed up, and because I was like, there's no way he would have let Luffy go. But then I reread it, and that's exactly what he did in the manga, where he let him go. And he said, because you're my grandson, I'm not going to arrest you. I was like, well, okay.
But then he throws cannonballs at him right after, you know?
Yeah, but that's because they told the higher ups told him to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this kind of shows that, like, even though Luffy took down Arlong and did everything, like, he still has a long way to go. Like, this old man can beat him up. And
yeah,
I mean, I personally would have also liked it that they didn't interact directly, or he was gonna go interact with him, but then he got called away from like by Baroque Works or something. Like, he had to deal with them.
Yeah,
because that would have tied in earlier where he was initially investigating Baroque Works. But yeah, I thought it was handled well enough. Especially if we're going to be condensing stuff, because I think I heard somewhere that they said that they could potentially see it going for 6 seasons. And I'm like, okay, trying to condense everything into 6 seasons is going to be rough.
Yeah, no Skypiea.
Oh no, they have to include. I'm going by like major arcs, so like I think that would lead us up to Marineford. But
one episode.
Yeah, it's a special.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, of interactions, what do you think of the Luffy and Kobe thing at the end?
Fine. Like, again, like I guess I would just reiterate my similar preference. I loved how Luffy saw Kobe, not until Endy's lobby, because I think they should only rarely see each other, and it shouldn't be like a regular thing, like whatever Gary Oak from Pokemon kind of thing. He's like, oh, hey man, seeing you again, every time they meet, there should be something significant, and that was like, Luffy just took down CP9, he met his grandpa, and then so like Luffy had a huge boost, and so did Kobe, right? And I think every time they meet, there like something significant happens, Marineford, obviously. That was like not a growth in power for Kobe, but it was a moral growth with trying to end the war and everything, So while here, it just kind of feel like he's like a regular reoccurring guest, just there for the sake of being there, kind of thing,
Yeah, I think that after this season they'll tone down with Kobe, because I felt like this was a good enough closure for their arc of friendship through this first season. Because it kind of tied in the whole thing. Like at the very beginning, like Luffy's like, oh, where's my wanted poster? And then Kobe was the one to deliver it to him. And yeah, I almost feel like in this, compared to the manga, I get a better sense of friendship between the two. Like actual friendship rather than like, oh, we're friends, or like a superfluous type of friendship. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's I think that it was okay. But yeah, after that we see everyone start to part ways, and we actually see like Buggy and Alvida meet, which is interesting. I don't think that they're gonna keep Alvida getting thin in this version. It kind of seemed unnecessary because it's unnecessary in the original. And then we see Garp like say, oh, we're actually going to start your official training now, which is where it picks up with the cover story.
Yeah, that's where it picks up with the cover story. And I also did like the Shanks and Mihawk scene a lot too. I thought that was really cool, the water poster.
Yeah, that was like a 1-for-1 thing.
Well, that was great. And then like just going into the end with the barrel scene and the incorporation with the flashbacks and all that stuff, I thought like very, very well done, very good. I thought they did a great job ending it off.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that I don't know, Usopp could have. It seemed weird, like having Usopp only realize his dream at this point, compared to like showing it earlier.
Well, he wasn't really given those moments earlier, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the things that was suffered from the series. But then we get the teaser of Smoker.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see how they deal with this, because I think they said that. Oh well, yeah. Oda already announced that there's going to be a season 2, so. Yeah, I think it'll go into Alabasta. Maybe we should talk about that in another video, what we think season 2 is gonna cover or cut out based on this first season. But
yeah, for sure.
But overall, I enjoyed the live action series as a whole. We definitely had our nitpicks, and some of the stuff could have been improved in our eyes, like as longtime fans. But I just hope that this brings more eyes onto One Piece as a whole for more people to like try out, because I feel out of the big three, even though it's the biggest of the big three, I feel like in the West, Naruto and Bleach got more popularity.
100%.
And
I already know some people who are already getting into the anime now because of the live action.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But I would give it a B+ for the series overall. That would be my letter grade.
Yeah. I think it's on kind of a curve because of how bad other live action animes have been. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Like, I had a good time with it, you know, right? And that's just how I'm judging it. And I thought it was like faithful and not disrespectful to the manga. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
It's not like other Netflix series, Cowboy Bebop, where they completely missed like the tone of the show and like the point of characters.
Right.
But yeah, so let us know what you all think, dear listeners, about the show, whether you liked it or not, if you agreed with our assessments of the show, and if you're excited for season 2. And we will be coming back to you eventually with more One Piece content, more Jujutsu Kaisen content, and whatever else we feel like talking about anime related. So once again, please like and subscribe if you haven't. We will see you next time.
Peace.